In the previous video of this series, I showed you how to create a custom theme for Rad text box. In doing so, we successfully themed the various text boxes contained in RadScheduler's Edit Appointment Dialog. We still have a ways to go until the Edit Appointment Dialog is completely themed, however. In this video, we'll continue the process by creating a theme for RadDropDownList. Let's get started. So as you can see, here is the application we created last time to test our smoke theme. So I'm going to right click and we'll create a new appointment, and this is going to bring up the Edit Appointment dialog. And as you can see, we've already created a theme for Rad Form, and then Rad Text Box contains a theme, and then here is Rad Dropdown List, and this is what we'll be creating a theme for today. So I'm going to close out of the application, and let's switch over to Visual Style Builder. And I'm also going to open up the text file that I created as well that contains our various colors that we've used throughout the various themes we've been creating. So to begin, I'm going to open up the theme, and so I'll go to File, Open Package, then I'm going to select Smoke Theme and click Open. And since we're going to be theming the Rad drop-down list, I'm actually going to switch down to that control, and as you can see, it's already kind of partially themed. The text box area kind of in the center of it actually has a gray background. Well, the reason that you see this occurring is because one of the repositories that we've probably changed somewhere else is being applied to an element of this control, and therefore it's showing that style inside of this control. So what we really need to do is just style the rest of the control around this. So I'm going to start by adjusting this outer area. As you can see, the background is not fully gray, it still has kind of a white outline, and we'll adjust that right now. So I'm going to go into the Rad text box element, and then I'm going to select text box fill, and we'll stick with the default state, which is Rad text box element. And now I'm going to select to show only the repositories that have been applied to this state, and as you can see, there is a repository called white background. Well, this is what we're going to need to adjust to fix this outer white area. So I'm going to expand into it, and let's use our lighter background color here from my colors.txt file. And now I'm going to paste this into the background color of the white background repository item. Kind of changes the meaning of the name, but it really doesn't matter. So I'm going to click OK, and as you can see, it's adjusted it now. So we can move on to now creating a theme specific to this button here to the right. So I'm going to select the Rad drop-down list arrow button element here in the control structure. And let's start by changing its fill color. So I'm going to select Rad arrow button fill. And as you can see over here in the element states window, if I expand this a little bit, it has a default state, and then a mouse over state, and then an is drop-down showing state. So we're going to actually adjust all three of these. So let's start with its default state. So I'm going to select this, and we'll expand into the repository that creates the fill. And I'm just going to specify my regular fill color, so I'll just paste this right in here. And I'll click OK. And it's adjusted the regular fill color. But as you can see, the outline is still kind of a light color outline. I actually don't want that, so let's switch over to the outline for this now. So I'm going to expand this a little bit, and let's go over to Rad arrow button border, and as you can see, it currently has a white border repository applied to it, so I'm going to expand into this, and let's change this to be our lighter background color. So I'm going to copy this, and we'll just paste it right into its forecolor, and I'll click OK. And as you can see, it's adjusted it. And now the next thing we want to change is the mouse over fill color and border. So I'm going to switch back over to the Rad arrow button fill, and let's switch to the mouse over state, and I'm going to expand into this repository, and let's use our mouse over fill. So I'm going to copy this, and we'll paste it in, and then we'll copy the secondary color and paste that in as well, and click OK. And now when I mouse over this, it changes to the correct kind of a lighter gray color, but the outline is still orange, so we're going to adjust that now. So I'm going to expand into the Rad arrow button border, and we'll make sure that the mouse over state is still selected, And now I'll expand into its repository. And let's use one of our border colors. So I'm going to go with, let's use our inner border color. So I'll copy that, we'll paste it in, and click OK. And now when you mouse over, it looks a little bit better. So finally, the final state we're going to adjust is when you actually click on this item, it still turns orange. So I'm going to scroll down to the is drop down showing element state, and let's adjust its fill color. So I'll switch back over to fill color. We'll expand into that, and I'm going to use the mouse down fill color I have over here in my text file. So I'll paste in its primary color and then its secondary color. I'll click OK, and we still need to adjust the border. So I'm going to switch over to the border element, and let's adjust the button mouse down border repository. And I'm actually going to use just my standard border color for that. So we'll copy that and paste it in and click OK. And let's adjust this window size real quick. And as you can see, when I click on it now, all the element states look appropriate for the theme I'm trying to create. The final thing I want to show you is what if you wanted to change the highlight color and the selection color of the elements within this control. Well, that's not actually going to be done within the context of RadDropDownList. When you click this, it's actually showing you a Rad list box. So in order to change these, you actually need to come over here to Rad list box, and I'll expand into this. And you can actually change the color of these if you select the Rad list box item, and then you'll select the list box item selection fill, and you can change those colors here. And you can also change the border that gets shown as well by selecting the list box item selection border, and you'll change the borders in these different element states. I'm actually going to be sticking with the selection colors that have already been selected, so I'm not going to worry about changing these. But one more thing I want to show you is if we come back over here to RadDropDownList, as you can see, it has a kind of a resizer bar here down at the bottom. Well, if you want to change the color of that, you can actually scroll down to the Rad Sizable pop-up control. So I'm going to scroll down and we'll select that. And as you can see, here is the resizer. So let's go ahead and change the background color and outline of it. So I'm going to expand into it, and I'll select Size Grip Element. And as you can see here, it has a grip fill and a grip border. So for the grip fill, let's go ahead and use my lighter background color. So I'll copy that. We'll expand into its repository, and then I'm just going to paste this into the background color and click OK. And now I'm also going to adjust the border, so we'll expand into that as well. And I'm going to copy my standard border color and we'll paste it, or actually this particular border is actually set up using the 4 borders box style. So as you can see, it has a left border, a right border, and a lower border. So those are actually specified by these colors here. So I'm going to scroll down here in the properties window, and I'll just paste in we'll actually use my inner border for this color. So paste that in here and there, and then for the right color, and then I'm also going to copy my regular outer border, and we'll paste that into the bottom shadow, the left shadow, and the right shadow. And I'll click OK. And here is our completed Rad Sizable pop-up. So if we come back up to the Rad drop-down list and expand it, as you can see, here is our recolored sizable pop-up. So that's pretty much it for what we're going to be doing to theme this control. So now I'm going to go to File, and we'll do a Save As, and I'm going to save it as my smoke theme instead of my custom themes folder, so I'll click OK. And now let's jump back over to Visual Studio and we'll test this theme in our test application. So I'm going to go into the File Explorer, and here is the theme where I've saved it on my computer, and I'm actually just going to click this and we'll drag it and drop it into our already existing application, and I'll click Yes to replace it. And as you can see here in the main form load, it's actually loading that package resource already, and then it assigns the theme to the application, or to the RadScheduler. So since that's already taken care of, we should be able to just click Run and see this theme in action. So here's the application, and as you can see, here is the RadScheduler that has already been themed. So I'm going to select an area of it, and I'll right click and select New Appointment. And as you can see, here is our newly themed Rad dropdown. It contains the background color we've set, and it actually contains the Rad scroll bar we themed in a previous video, and here the button to the top right also contains our adjusted theme as well. So that's pretty much all it takes to theme RadDropDownList. Thanks for watching.